I hope you are ready, because today we're going to be reacting to true stories, scary animations. So go ahead, just do it now. Get your snacks, get your candy, popcorn, peanuts, chips, soda, juice, whatever you got. Get to the kitchen, get it all. And boy, you better get that out of here. We are so close to 15 million subscribers, so everybody please just do it now. Click the subscribe button if you want to help the channel get there. And shout out to MJV Animations. They're the ones that made these amazing animations we're about to watch. Check out their link in the description below, subscribe to them. And yeah, comment down below how old you are.
Are you 5?
Are you 7? Or are you 16? Let me know. And let's go!
I woke up startled. I looked around my room to see what had woken me. I then saw a silhouette of a person in my doorway. The person walked in. I then realized it was my son, Eddie. He was walking up to my bed in his blue Buzz Lightyear pajamas. He then looked up at me and asked, "Daddy, can we go to Chuck E. Cheese?" I glanced over to my alarm clock and saw that the time was 3:48 a.m. "Eddie, why are you asking to go to Chuck E. Cheese at 3 o'clock in the morning? Don't you know me and your mother have to go to work?" "Sorry, Daddy, for waking you, but I really want to go to Chuck E. Cheese."
No.
"Eddie, please get out of my room. I need to sleep." "But Daddy..." "Eddie, get out of my room, or else we're never going to Chuck E. Cheese."
Jeez.
He didn't say a word as he walked away back to his room. I laid my head down on my pillow and tried to get some sleep. A week after that night, Emily, my wife, and I decided to take Eddie to Chuck E. Cheese. When we picked up Eddie from school, the first thing he asked was, "Mommy, Daddy, can we go to Chuck E. Cheese today?" We both replied yes, and he was ecstatic. Thank you. I love you so much."
He looks evil.
Emily and I smiled at each other. The drive took about 15 minutes, and when we arrived, Eddie practically leapt and ran out towards the restaurant. We had to run to catch up to him, and by the time we had unbuckled our seatbelts and got out of the car, Eddie was already at the front door, waiting for us to come.
Who wears
As
a
I
tie
looked up,
and shorts?
I saw the sign read, "Where a kid can be a kid." We got inside. Eddie ran off to play arcade games while Emily went to get some food. I was sitting at a table and watching the creepy robots on the stage. I mean, why would a kid even like something like that? How the would a kid find enjoyment in a creepy, rusty old robot?
Ew.
Emily joined me with some pepperoni pizzas and sodas, and I began to chat with her. About a half hour later, we called Eddie over to eat. He came rushing over and started chomping down on his pizza and sucking down his drink.
Ew.
It was as if he was a hungry lion that hadn't eaten in weeks. After he was done, a voice came from the stage. I turned and saw that the animatronics were now singing, and Eddie ran over to the front of the stage and was intently watching the robots with joy in his eyes. I noticed that he was watching Chucky the most. Shortly after the show began, Emily went to the bathroom and I watched Eddie. I mean, I didn't have to be staring at him for every second of the day because he was 8 years old. He could handle himself. I checked the time on my phone, 4:15 p.m. I had planned that we would be leaving at 6 p.m., so Eddie would get some more time to play games and watch the robots, much to my dismay. I did my routine check over my shoulder to see if Eddie was okay, and what I saw next made my blood turn cold. I saw Eddie being held up by the Chuck E. Cheese animatronic, mouth wide open, as the animatronic was spitting out some strange black liquid into Eddie's mouth. I ran towards the robot and saw that its eyes were rolled back into its head, and it was playing a warped Chuck E. Cheese laugh.
Knock it
I
off!
grabbed Eddie and tugged him and ripped him out of the robot's hand as my wife came out of the bathroom. I screamed at her, "Call 911! Call somebody!" My wife immediately called 911 to report this unexplainable situation. She told the operator that there was an accident at Chuck E. Cheese and they should send help right away. When the ambulance arrived and took Eddie away, me and Emily followed behind the ambulance on the way to the hospital. Doctors immediately took Eddie into the emergency room. They ran some tests and took his temperature, 105.12 degrees Fahrenheit. My heart dropped when I heard this. The doctors told me and Emily that we would be staying the night at the hospital. Emily went to sleep on the sofas in the guest rooms. I must have dozed off too. When I opened them again, I found myself inside Chuck E. Cheese, but this time it was abandoned. I turned around and saw the show stage with the old decayed robots, except no Chucky. I then heard a muffled whimper from behind me. An old decayed Chucky robot with sharp fangs and red eyes was standing there, holding my son. Chucky laughed disturbingly while spilling the black liquid from his mouth. Eddie was screaming, stretching his arms at me. I didn't even have any time to react as Chucky vomited the same black substance right on my face as I jolted awake, perspiring in shock. I got off the sofa and poured myself a glass of water. Emily woke up, groggy. I told her that I was just thirsty and she should go back to sleep. Due to this awful dream, I just wanted to check on my son. I went to his cabin and watched him lying on the bed with various medical devices plugged into his body. I went close to kiss him on his forehead when he suddenly opened his eyes. "Daddy, can we go to Chuck E. Cheese?"
No.
What? Why? "I need to see Chucky. I want to go to Chuck E. Cheese."
Bro.
The voice that came out of my son didn't belong to him. That much I could tell. I started screaming for help, but no one in the hospital heard my voice. Eddie slowly got up on the bed and started to laugh exactly like Chucky from my dream. His eyes rolled back inside his head, revealing just the white eyeballs. My little son looked like a demon from hell. I collapsed on the ground when I heard Emily's voice fading at some distance. "Richard, what happened to you? Oh my God, help! Doctor, somebody help!" I woke up the next morning and received two news that changed my life forever. One was that I passed out in Eddie's cabin last night. Emily saw me pointing to Eddie sleeping and saying something in gibberish. Practically, whatever I saw, Emily didn't see anything. I agree, I might have been hallucinating, but the second news was more than a shock. It was found that the Chuck E. Cheese outlet we used to go to somehow drugged the kids with some mysterious substance when their parents weren't watching. Because of that, every kid wanted to visit the place again and again. It wasn't just Eddie. Many other kids suffered the same consequences as him. So, the black liquid, whatever it was, I just hope the cops run a thorough investigation and convict the responsible people for their heinous crime. It makes me sick to think how far some business holders are willing to go just to increase their sales. Maybe some other outlet will be different, but the one Chuck E. Cheese where we used to go didn't let a kid be a kid in any positive way.
No! Okay, from now on, we're going to Dave & Buster's. Chuck E. Cheese is now closed. You really gonna spit in my face with your nasty green tea juice that you're throwing up? That's straight up disgusting, man, and you must be stopped. But let's go ahead and check out another one. Let's go!
My daughter Anna was very energetic and bubbly. She was my precious little girl, and now she's gone. I've kept this story to myself for years. The only other people who have ever heard it are the police, who did absolutely nothing. It all started the first weekend of December 2010. My beautiful 6-year-old Anna was more than excited to be going down to our local park. She would ride her cycle all over the park and laugh in pure joy. I sat on a bench and watched my darling daughter grow up every day, bit by bit. The city park was adjacent.
You can't use hands while playing soccer.
The fences separating the park from those woods were broken out of poor maintenance. I always kept an eye on Anna so that she didn't go into the woods. Whenever I would see her going near the fences, I would say, "Baby, don't go into the woods. Stay inside the fences." But he is waving at me.
What?
Who's waving at you?
Your mama.
The ice cream man. I followed her eyes and saw a man dressed in a tattered blue suit and a tall hat standing near the end of the park. Behind him stood an ice cream truck. "Mommy, can I have some ice cream?
No.
Please." Okay. We went to the truck and the man smiled at me in a really creepy way. Something felt really odd about him.
Yeah, get away from
A
him.
foul smell came from him every time the wind blew from his clothes. It seemed like he hadn't bathed in months, and everything about him was so unclean. I pondered on the thought of buying food from an unclean vendor like this, and that makes two for my child. "Hello, little angel. What ice cream can I get you?"
All of them.
"A strawberry cone." "You have very good taste. And what about you, darling?" I was already disgusted by his appearance, and after he addressed me as darling, I couldn't stand him anymore. "Anna, let's go. I'll buy you ice cream some other day." But why?" "Because I said so." I grabbed my daughter's hand and turned around to walk away when the man spoke to me. "What's wrong with my ice creams?" "Nothing. I just don't want my kid getting diarrhea."
Ew.
"You think you can insult me and get away with it?" The way he said this, it seemed like a threat, but I wasn't in a mood to tolerate his shit. I gave him a cold, firm look and said, "Listen, you freak, just stay away from my daughter, or I'll call the cops." Hearing about the cops, he got into his truck and drove away. Feeling a sigh of relief, seeing him take off, I came back to the bench. Anna was very upset with me, but I knew I did what I needed at the moment. After a while, we decided to head home. I was walking on the sidewalks while Anna paddled ahead of me. We were close to our house when I heard a soft jingle behind us.
Ooh.
Turning around, my legs froze on the ground. It was the same man following us in his ice cream truck. I didn't want to scare my daughter, so I told her I'd give her a popsicle if she reached home before me. Being the sweet kid she was, she drove her cycle full speed while I started to run. As soon as we got home, I opened the door and told Anna to get in. She went inside to wash her hands while I stood near the entrance to watch what the man did next. He stopped his truck right in front of my gate and yelled,
"You dummy."
"You can't be there for her all the time, you know."
Ugh.
Saying this, he took out a brown bag and threw it at my porch. The bag busted open, and a disgusting stench spread all over the air. There was a brown substance inside. My porch got dirty, and I was shocked to see the audacity of this man. What a... I don't want to detail further how I cleaned all that, but I was terrified like... I reported the incident to the cops, but they couldn't locate the guy, regardless of me giving them a description of him and the truck. Later that night, it took me a lifetime to fall asleep after that experience, but it didn't last long when I finally did. Around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, I heard a loud noise. I was tired due to the lack of sleep, but a soft jingle came to my ear, like those ones that played on an ice cream truck. I was so tired that I couldn't anticipate the lurking evil.
Oh no.
If I did, I could have saved her. It took me a minute to realize that my front door had slammed shut, which confused me further. It was locked. You could only open it from the inside. I walked to Anna's room. My hand was about to twist her doorknob when I heard the familiar faint chimes of the ice cream truck again. To my absolute horror, my daughter was not in her room. Her bed sheets were strewn across the floor, as if she had gotten up in a hurry. I ran as fast as I could down the hallway into the front door. I ripped open the door and was greeted by that ice cream truck right outside my house, and the same man grinning at me. He waved at me slowly and exaggeratedly, then zoomed out of my driveway. I screamed, "No, Anna!" and chased the ice cream truck down the street. The faint outline of my daughter in the passenger seat pushed me to run faster. As it kept fading away, all I could hear was the ice cream truck jingle, accompanied by an evil laughter.
That's just evil.
The truck made a final turn, and I followed it, turning onto Cavill Avenue. But there was no truck to be seen.
Jeez.
No music to be heard. Nothing. I fell onto the pavement, screaming Anna's name and sobbing. I wasn't thinking straight. It didn't cross my mind that I was wasting time. I pulled myself together and ran back the way I came. I had to call the cops. I was hyperventilating, sobbing, and felt as though I was on the edge of fainting. I ran around my entire house searching for my wallet. It was nowhere to be seen. Finally, I found my wallet, and I couldn't believe I hadn't put it together. My purse was outside in the driveway, precisely where the truck had been. Anna was not taken from her room. The man hadn't broken in. She had gone willingly, with plans to buy the ice cream I had promised her. This made me cry even harder. I called 911 and they answered. I tried explaining what had happened, but I was sobbing and blubbering too much that they couldn't understand what I was saying. Once I managed to explain everything, they sent cops to my house and started investigating.
Too late now.
The police began a month-long search for Anna, but never found her. What they did find was the abandoned ice cream truck on the side of the road, almost 80 miles away. Her small sneakers were placed neatly on the passenger seat. It turned out the ice cream truck was stolen. After this, I met a new guy, and we have gotten married and had another child since. Her name is Annalisa, after her lost half-sister, and she is 6 now. As for that creepy man, I haven't seen or heard from him until today.
What?
I was in my bedroom alongside my husband and Annalisa when the familiar sound of an ice cream truck began to play once more. So here I am, writing this while beside my small family, praying for the horrible sound to stop. To my surprise, Annalisa just excused herself to the bathroom. God, I love her. She's like my second chance at raising a daughter. Of course, I haven't replaced Anna. But wait, was that a door slam again?
Ooh, girl, you literally led the ice cream man to your house. If you're being followed, don't run home because they know where you live. Go into a store or something and wait for them to leave. Ooh, well, girl, don't go to the park and don't get ice cream. Especially from an ice cream truck. Just go to Cold Stone, go to Minchie, something like that. But if you enjoyed this video, then go ahead and smack that like button. And yeah, I'ma see ya in the next one.